How's it going, everybody? Figure I'd bring you another life video, so here I am in my living room. Nothing special, a decent house, nothing really that special. It's just a house, just a place to hang a hat. It's really too big. I'd rather have smaller. It's amazing when you get older how you want things smaller. Today I figured I'd do a video that's a little bit more relatable to my normal audience, and that is getting tires done at a dealer and kind of my impressions of dealers. And I probably won't be naming any per se, and the ones I used to know might not be around, different ownership, so it wouldn't be fair for me to name them. And also, me being so connected with the industry, I'm just not gonna blatantly name dealers and call them out, because sometimes you just have to let things go. But if one of the general managers I know or somebody else in the industry and they know the dealer I'm probably talking about, then that's okay. They know it's them and maybe they'll fix the problems. But then again, some of these problems are older. But this is why I buy stuff on Amazon, Rocky Mountain ATV slash motorcycle, in the past from Chaparral Racing, Dennis Kirk, online slash mail order type places. Dennis Kirk used to be mail order, so that's why I said mail order for those that didn't know before the internet. But that's even before my time. But I've dealt with these companies online, and I buy my tires, I buy chains and sprockets, and a lot of times nowadays, Amazon. Yeah, the shipping's built into the price, but even with it built in, even the tax now, it's still cheaper, and I get it within 2 days. Or I buy it from Rocky Mountain ATV slash motorcycle, and it shows up to my house here in Colorado at least in 2 days, maybe three. But it's always so quick. It's amazing. It's just like buying on Amazon. They fill the order quickly and they send it out quickly, which is very nice. I'm sure a lot of you have been to motorcycle dealers and you've just wanted simple things done. Maybe you wanted a tire changed and you were going to bring in your rims off the bike. You mail ordered those new tires and you take them in and the dealer is like disgusted at you because you didn't buy the tires from them. But when you ask them about prices for tires, they wanted to charge you $200 per tire. Yes, yes, I've seen that happen. I had that happen back when I lived in Michigan at a place, and I said I wouldn't name them. So hard for me not to name that place because that place was disgusting. One of the few places I probably should name, but because it's been long enough, it's probably different owners. They had nothing to do with it. That guy probably doesn't even work in service or parts. Although service was always fine, it was the parts guy I had a problem with. But yes, the parts guy quoted me once like $220 for a rear tire and I don't know, 180 for the front tire. I was like, what? And I go, online, I can get that rear tire for $100 at that time. $100. So they want to charge me a lot more. Plus, they still wanted installation of the tires. They didn't include that in the price. You buy the tires, you can get installation. Even then, that would be way too much. So, so I kind of, laughed at that, like, well, I'm not paying that. He looks me in the eye and he goes, you know why those tires are so cheap? And I'm mid 20s, like 24 at the time, 25. I'm like, no, why? He goes, because those are rejected tires from the manufacturer. That's how they can sell them for so cheap. I just basically laughed and said, yeah, have a good day, and left. It's like, what a line of BS. Why would I fall for that line of BS? I could not believe I heard that line of BS. But that's what he told me. They're rejected tires. But if you want to take your life into your hands, yeah, feel free to order those, sir. What are you talking about? So I bought the tires online. I came back. I didn't have to see him because he's not the service guy. I went up to the service department and, oh, yeah, did you buy these tires from us? Yeah, I did. I didn't know. Oh, okay, yeah, it's going to be $25 or $30 or whatever to install per tire. Still pretty outrageous. But they did it. And that's been my relationship with dealers for a long time. This is why a lot of people view dealers in a negative light, because they have screwed us over or tried to. There was another dealer up where my wife was living, at the time girlfriend, and I went in there and I said, well, how much to install tires? Their rims are off the bike. I'll bring them in, but I have these tires. I just moved up here. How much to install them? And he goes, I don't think he liked the fact that they were probably mail order tires, but I said I moved up there, so I happen to have these tires. That usually helps calm things down, because they don't need to know where you got them from. I got them from another dealer. I just moved here. Don't worry about it. And he goes, well, kind of clicks around, and he goes, well, you know what? The book says it takes an hour per tire, and our going rate is $80 an hour. I was like, $160 to install it. I said, hey, just to let you know, I'm bringing these in off the bike. They're not on the bike. And he goes, no, that's our rate. I just laughed at him, and I left. Now, I moved out here to Colorado in 2007. I had my Yamaha FZ1 in 2001. So first year it came out, awesome bike. Missed that bike. Wish I would have kept that bike. I only sold that bike for $2,500. I probably could have got more, but I had 48,000 miles, and I figured, well, I got pretty good use out of it, so I'll just sell it. I probably should have kept it and just kept the bike because it was a nice bike. And so we move out here. I need tires. I call a local shop. So when I called this shop, they said, I asked, hey, I just moved out here. I have these tires. I moved from Michigan. I have these tires with me. I bought them at my dealer back in Michigan. Again, never telling them I bought them online. Not going to go there because that seems to ruffle feathers with these people. And I'm like, I will be bringing in the rims and tires, how much to put on the new tires onto the rims and balance them and all that good stuff. And he goes, well, the thing is, it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks. Excuse me? 2 to 3 weeks, sir. I go, no, I'm bringing in the rims off the bike. I can come right down there. And, this is usually something the shop boy does, and they'll do it right away. And he goes, well, who do you think you are to cut the line in front of people? I'm like, you're not working on my bike. You're just changing tires. And I was like, whatever, have a good day, bye. Hung up the phone. You know what I did? Being me, I got online. I had already been checking these out for years. Nomar tire changer. I spent $1,400 and I had it within like a week and a half. The whole tire changer. And then I started just doing my own street bike tires whenever I wanted. Now, I used to keep records while I had the tire changer, and to kind of justify it to the wife, $1,400, because I bought the best one with all the tools, with all the stuff, because I didn't know what I would need. So I went all out. So I got the Nomar Pro tire changer. I haven't been on their site for 10 years or so, so I have no idea what they even have. No. And I think they came down in price. The last time I checked, I was kind of like, oh, they're much cheaper. More competition out there. They probably had to make them cheaper so people would buy them and continue to buy them. Once I got that tire changer picked up at UPS distribution, and like I said, it came like a week and a half, maybe 2 at the most. It was pretty quick, actually. And I put it together, and I started changing my own tires. And to justify it to the wife, I started posting online on forums saying, hey, I'll change your tire. I'm open on Sunday if I'm here. I'm open on Monday. The local dealers are not open on Sunday or Monday. So how many times have you had it where you walk out to your bike and you're like, oh man, I really need a new tire, but They're not open. It might be Monday. Oh, they're not open. And maybe you want to ride on Tuesday, but they're not open. So you can't get a new tire. And you don't have a tire changer yourself, but you have a way to buy the tires. So maybe you have the tire or you contacted me ahead of time and you went ahead and ordered a tire online. So order it online, you save money, and then you would contact me and you'd bring it out off the bike. And I charged like 10, $12 per tire. I always had the person take the tire with them. I'm like, no, you gotta you dispose of it however you want. Take it to Walmart, whatever, dispose of it. I can't take your tire. So they would take their tire, so I didn't have to deal with that. But yeah, it was a lot of work. But so in the meantime, a couple years go by, I made like $780 or something like that. We'll just say $800. I made $800. Machine cost me $1,400. I definitely got the use of it out of the rest of the amount. And then I eventually sold the unit to a guy up in Denver somewhere, or in that area. Could have been Boulder, I'm not quite sure. But sold it to a guy that had a shop and wanted to get into doing tire changing on the side besides rewinding stators. Very nice guy. Sounds like a lot of people actually know him up there, Rewind Stator. So you might know who I'm talking about. I think his name was Kevin. And very nice guy. Sold him everything. And he was tickled pink. I don't quite remember what I sold it to him for. It might have been $500, $400. I don't know. Something like that, I think. And so basically, it paid for itself. I had no problems changing tires for people. But see, that's the thing with the dealers. They never seem to come through. Dealers tend to be a disappointment to me. I mean, I've gone into the dealers and looked for gear. Tried on boots, liked the boots. Went and talked to the wife. Went back down a couple days later with the wife to get the boots. You'd be like, well, maybe the boots sold. No. Somebody bought one pair of boots, but they bought like the left of one size and the right of the other, and the size I needed was one of those, so they only had one boot that matched. And the guy just looked at me clueless. I said, well, this was only a couple days ago. Surely you know who bought it. Maybe they're in your system and you can call them up and say, hey, you got the wrong, maybe it was an accident, maybe they did it on purpose, because most people do have two different size feet. And you could get him to bring the boot down. And I possibly would buy the boot. Like, hey, he didn't seem interested in that. I'm like, okay, whatever. Not trying to tell you how to do your job, but you suck at doing your job, because I think you'd be a little bit more worried about this than what you appear to be. Because, these boots aren't cheap. You're talking like $600, $500. I forget how much that pair. I think it was like around $500. Or $450. Might have been like $450, $500. Anyways, I'm like, well, so do you have any more? Because this is all I see. No, we don't have any more. Okay, so you don't have any. Well, we can order some. I'm like, well, I can order them online too. I think I actually told the guy that. Well, I can order them. Oh, okay. I was like, well, if I do order them from you, trying to support the local dealer now, will they be shipped to my house? Oh, no, sir. They would come in here. Oh, so I get to order them from you, and I get to come back down here. Can I get a significant discount of some sort? Oh, no, we can't do that. What? I mean, you guys are the one that messed up that have one of each size, because you let somebody walk out with one of each size. And it's not like you were just out. Now you're going to make me come back down if I order to pick them up from you. You're not going to give me a discount. So that means 2 trips down here. That means probably, 30 minutes down, 30, so an hour plus, typical getting out, dicking around inside and whatnot. I'll probably have a couple hours wasted going down to the dealership to get the boots when they come in. And if you know dealerships, they're old school. When they place an order, they place an order once a week typically. So he said it'd be a couple weeks. I can go online, probably get the boots a little bit cheaper. Probably not much. They all tend to price fix their products. Unfortunately, they do that, in these expensive boots. So you might get to save a little bit, but you're not going to save a lot. But anyways, I came home, went online, ordered them, and guess what? I got them like within a week, a couple days. That's why I don't like dealers. Because dealers tend to dick you around. Now, this same dealership also had Triumph motorcycles at one point. And that probably gives away who I'm talking about, but, whatever. The brother-in-law had a Triumph motorcycle. So I'd go in there with him and he'd be looking for whatever part for his Triumph Speed Triple. And like literally, you couldn't just go to the parts counter. You had to go to the parts counter, get a number. They call the number. Hey, I have a Triumph. They go, well, you need to talk to so-and-so because they're the only ones that have the password to get into the computer. And then you would have to go with her to the back room where she'd log in and then look up the parts. What? So inefficient. So inefficient. Not customer friendly at all. One little bit. You go in there, a typical dealership, the bikes are all packed way too close. You go to a nicer dealer like up in Denver, Rico Motorsports. I don't know if they're still around. But as far as the showroom goes, their showroom was awesome. Now, as far as service goes up there, it was like a typical dealer. It sucked. In fact, there was one time where the brother-in-law was going to get some service done. I forget, some mileage point. He was going to get that servicing done. I think it was. It's, I'm going back now quite a few years, to probably 2008, 2009. So the brother-in-law had a Speed Triple. So we go up to Denver, and I broke my rule. I named a dealer. Oh well, so be it. I will never use Rico Motorsports probably because they're up in if they're still around. I don't even know if they're still around. But we went all the way up there, and which was fun because it was on like a Saturday and they had pizza and stuff. So you eat a slice of pizza and BS, and then he made his appointment. And the guy goes, "It's as good as in the books." We're like, "Oh, okay, that's good, right?" You take people's word for stuff. And he's the service manager. Well, guess what? We go up there a week later. Brother-in-law takes a day off work. We go up, and he goes, what are you talking about? Your appointment's not today. Your appointment was like the other day or something. And I was like, no. Like, he knows which day. And I go, I was here at the time and overheard it. And it was as good as in the books. So stuff like this is why I can go on and on about dealers. Dealers just have betrayed me as a customer. So now there's going to be people that are like, oh, I love my dealer and this and that. Well, that's good for you. You might have a good dealer. You happen to live somewhere where you have a dealer that cares. And I'm not saying all dealers are bad, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't necessarily do business with them, because a lot of their bread and butter does come from servicings and that, this and that. But I have, over the years, learned just to do my own work, partly because of dealers. In my experience with various dealers, whether it was in Michigan or Colorado, I just have not been a big fan of dealers. Now, people will say, well, worst case scenario, I need to buy a bike and there's no dealership. I think in the future, maybe it's going to be probably pretty far down the road, but why wouldn't the manufacturers just start selling direct, saving me, the customer, money, and maybe I'm willing to save that money by putting the bike together myself and all that good stuff, and I save money. They sell me a product, it's shipped right to me, and I don't have to use a dealer. I mean, that's a real possibility, isn't it? I mean, I don't understand why we have the middleman. Well, now some will say, well, yeah, but when you need the bike worked on, where else would you go? For the most part, a motor is a motor, with some exceptions. And there's always independent motorcycle repair places, shops that you can go to that can work on your bike just fine, and they'll actually provide really good customer service. And I'm not trying to shit on the dealer but, or dealers, but at the same time, this is my experience. This is my life experience. This might not apply to you. You might be, hey, my dealership in Ohio has been fantastic. And in fact, just to prove that I have a positive experience with the dealership, Honda east of Toledo. I believe they're still around. We got one of the wife's bikes there when we lived in Michigan. We drove down to there, and it was no hassle. The low price they quoted on her Honda 599, we showed up. I figured there was going to be arguing and this and that. You know how buying stuff from any dealer, where automotive, motorcycle, recreational sports, it's like this whole lying process. Again, bad experiences from all types of dealers for me. So going down there, it was nice. We sat down. The price he quoted to the wife online was the price. We wrote the check, gave him the check, had the title. He already had the bike cleaned and charged. And at that point, he go, you can have 20 or 30% off, whatever it was, today on anything you buy. So we bought a ramp to unload the bike because we had borrowed the truck from her father to go get this bike. And they had a loading ramp, and we loaded it up, and yeah, it was great. No problems. And I don't know, we probably even bought tie-down straps or something because I'm sure we had to secure it somehow. And it was a really good experience. And I even asked the sales guy, I'm like, I'm surprised. You quoted a price, you stuck to the price, and the price is lower than everyone else. How are you doing it? He goes, volume. We believe in volume. He goes, if I can sell 30 bikes a day or whatever high number it was, then I'm really happy, because if we make $200 per bike, then we're all good. And that's really, I bet they were making a little more than that, but his point was well taken. It was volume, not being a dealer that sat on a bike. And a lot of times in Michigan, you would see that. You would have a dealer that literally would sit on a bike. Say when the Suzuki Hayabusa first came out, you had dealers that marked them up so high, they sat on those bikes. Now, some suckers bought some. They would hope for a sucker come in, but a lot of times that same dealer would have that same bike year after year after year, because they had these high hopes, high expectations of selling it to some sucker, and it just wouldn't happen all the time. So they get stuck with this bike that's 4 years old, and now, they're like, hey, we'll sell for, price or whatever. Like, no, this thing's 4 years old. Well, it still has a warranty because it's still brand new technically. I don't care. Sorry, not gonna do that. But that was the norm in Michigan. I saw that all the time. They would try to hold out for these high, ridiculous prices. I can literally go on and on and on, because I have a lot of stories and proof through my own eyes, through my own experiences, why I don't like dealerships, why I don't trust them, why I don't typically use them, why you see me use Amazon.com nowadays, or Rocky Mountain ATV Motorcycle, or many other online places. Heck, I'll even go up to Performance Cycle in Denver, because they're not a dealer. They sell just accessories, clothing, and stuff, parts, and they don't sell bikes. So you take away the bike aspect, they tend to be better. It's like when you get into that bike aspect, a lot of dealerships tend to be old school. They tend to have this old mindset. Hence why they still take Sundays off. Yeah, maybe state law says you can't sell a bike, but you got servicings and selling you jackets and stuff that you could do. Oh, but they race on Monday, so that's why they have Monday off. This isn't old school times. Hire more employees. Be open on Monday. It's why I had a lot of customers changing tires, because you guys weren't open. If you would have been open, you would have had that business. And next time I'm going to bring you about a dealership who really tried to rip me off, and that's the one in Michigan. And again, it's been so long, I'm not going to use their name, but man, that story is really good. So stay tuned. Please like, subscribe, and check out my other videos. Have a good one. Oh, and hit that notification bell because it's YouTube and they don't always notify people because they're weird. So take care. Have a good one.